Denzel Bowles with the JMU Dukes.
I'm Joey Rodriguez of the VCU Rams. You're watching CA basketball on Comcast Sportsnet.
Today, from the Convocation Center in Harrisburg, Virginia, it's a CAA afternoon delight. The VCU Rams, led by their floor leader, Joey Rodriguez, they have won 9 of the last 10 games, and they have Coach Shaka Smart all fired up to face interstate rival James Madison and their leading scorer, DENZEL Bowles, and their sharp shooter, Julius Wells. It's the VCU Rams at the JMU Dukes. Next on Comcast Sportsnet. On the campus of James Madison, inside the festive Convocation Center, a great CAA matchup, a high noon showdown between Virginia Commonwealth and James Madison. And a pleasant Saturday afternoon to you, alongside the coach, Charlie Woolham. I'm Brent Harrison. Coach, VCU, again, one of the top teams in the conference, and they are led by the seasoned senior in Joey Rodriguez.
Joey Rodriguez, one of my favorite players in the league. He is the key that runs this Ram offensive machine and at the defensive end. He can score, which has been evident by the fact that he got 28, his career high the last couple games, but he also gets his teammates involved, which will be very important tonight.
And he has a couple of guys he looks for on the floor and distributing the basketball, Brad Burgess and Jamie Skeen.
Brad Burgess, his coach says, can play 4 positions. He's an excellent jump shooter. He moves extremely well without the ball, and he does a lot of things defensively for this team. Jamie Skeen is the guy inside. He scores so well from the low post, but he can step out and shoot the ball very well from the outside. He blocks shots. He's a high percentage shooter. He's the real deal.
James Madison so good at home, and they are led by one of the most dynamic players in all the CAA. Senior DENZEL Bowles averages nearly a double-double.
Well, DENZEL Bowles does everything for this team. Their entire offense goes through him. He scores well in the low post. He step out to the perimeter and shoot jump shots, but he moves well, he runs the floor well. But what he really does well is pass to his teammates. And he's going to need to do that tonight because Julius Wells will have to help this team if they're going to beat VCU. Julius can take it to the hole, but he's a great three-point shooter.
Bowles is certainly the triple threat, and boy, VCU is going to have to look for him and lock him down if they want to get a win in the CAA today. Here's a look at the conference standings. As you see, the Rams tied for the lead with George Mason at 10-2. James Madison tied for 5th at 7-5 in the conference, but it's important to try to get into the top 4 spots to get a bye in the conference tournament with 6 conference games left. This is a big one for James Madison. Coach, I hope you have your head on a swivel. 2 of the better offensive teams here today. It should be a good one. Buckle in, the Rams and Dukes. The tip-off is straight ahead right here on Comcast Sportsnet. And we're in Harrisonburg, Virginia. James Madison University taking on Virginia Commonwealth. VCU, the visiting team in the all-black. A look at your starting lineups for the Rams here this afternoon. And they start 3 seniors. Ian Rodriguez, Skeen and Nixon. Also Reddick, the freshman, along with Burgess. The Rams led by Shaka Smart in his 2nd season. 45-15 in his 2 years at VCU. James Madison, the home team in the all-white. They start 3 transfers, Bowles, Goins, and Hitchens, along with Wells and Moore. The Dukes, led by Matt Bradley, 3rd season at JMU, 50-41 overall. James Madison, 17-7 this season. Now time to look at our Moore family of dealerships keys to the game. And Coach, what do you have?
Well, for VCU, they must limit DENZEL Bowles' touches. He's too good to touch the ball too many times. And they got to get a good start defensively. For JMU, they got to play with high energy tonight for 40 minutes if they're going to play in this basketball game. And they have to value every possession because VCU turns you over about 17 times a ball game.
Coach, both of these teams coming off tough losses this week. Both of these teams, despite the fact they're toward the top of the CAA, kind of desperate for a win this afternoon.
Well, these wins are very important tonight. VCU wants to stay ahead of the league, which they've been most of the season. And for JMU, they want to be in the top 4. If they don't win this ball game, that's going to become more and more difficult.
As you can see, VCU leads the all-time series 42-20 and won 8 of the last 10 against James Madison. And it is the Rams controlling the opening tip. The senior Joey Rodriguez, the floor leader for VCU, controlling things. James Madison comes out in a man-to-man.
Nixon has played very well for this team in the last two or three weeks. He's averaged about 14 points a game in the last 10 days.
The jumper off the mark for Skeen. James Madison, the all-white with the purple trim. DeVar Moore controlling things at the point for the Dukes. His floater is heavy off the back of the iron.
JMU has to show some degree of patience at the offensive end because this team at Virginia Commonwealth University wants to speed up the game as much as possible.
A rejection by Denzel Bowles. His 43rd block of the season. He really does it all. Averages nearly 18 a game and 9 rebounds. Where he's a presence inside. And there's that inside presence for the throwdown dunk. Bowles.
There's a good example, Brent, of how well he moves without the basketball. This young man has all the tools offensively to play at the next level.
Nothing doing inside. Rashawn Goins, the big fella for the Dukes, and he is a monster inside defensively. James Madison pushing, and there's Goins, 33. The transfer from Cleveland, Ohio. Turnaround jumper is good for Julius Wells, a coach who said he would have to be a good complementary player, and he gets off to a good start.
Well, the Dukes got their 2 primary players going right off the bat, and that was very important. They've been a very slow starting team the last few ball games. Right here's a great example of JMU just did not get back in transition, so they had to foul to start the basket.
The freshman Reddick at the line out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and Coach Javante Reddick has really come along here in his freshman campaign. Had a season-high 13 against Hofstra back on the 27th of January, and he has really improved with each game.
Saka's done a great job of bringing that young man along. He's extremely talented. He's listed as one of the 10 guys in this country that ESPN, the magazine, wants to watch as a freshman, and he's certainly living up to his expectations.
VCU comes out with a lot of pressure in their man-to-man. They like to use defense to turn it into offense. Foul called inside.
VCU wants to create total havoc out there when you're playing offense. They want this game to be a 94-foot basketball game and not a half-court game.
One team foul for each squad. Rams still looking to get on the scoreboard. James Madison with the possession. Inside to Bowles. Loves working inside and hits the turnaround jumper. Bowles now has 4. Madison off to a quick start, 6-0.
Well, that's a great example of how well Bowles reads the defense. He felt him on his right side. He turned into that fadeaway jumper and hit it.
An open look from the corner. And Burgess buries the 3. The junior gets the Rams on the board, cuts the Madison lead in half at 6-3.
Well, if the youngsters out there want to see perfect form on a jump shot, just watch Bradford Burgess. Great balance, great release and follow through. Tremendous concentration on his jumper.
James Madison extending the offense. The Rams do a great job defensively. Drive inside, and that is off the mark.
They do a super job of playing a passing lanes, make you do something you don't want to do.
Burgess thought about the 3, brings it back down. Joey Rodriguez resets. Madison off to a good start, 3 of 5 early. And VCU on the road still looking for their shooting legs. Off to a cold start, and the 3 buried by Hunty Hitchens. Knocks knocks it down, and James Madison up 9-3. Hitchens shoots about 40% from three-point range, and he knocked down the open look.
He's a great addition to this team because he plays off Devon Moore's penetration, and he's an excellent three-point shooter.
The answer by the Rams. And goes inside. Such a tough matchup, Coach. That is now 6 early points for Denzel Bowles, the senior, the transfer out of Texas A&M, and he has his team off to a great start. Madison with an 8-point early advantage.
There's a great example right now of how Madison gets off to a good start. They're going to push the ball in transition. They don't have defense back. He makes a nice penetration dribble and feeds his teammate. Good job. Great job. Good vision. He sees and he passes.
Hitchens plays a little off guard, but he certainly is capable of finding his teammates on the floor. Had a season-high 9 assists earlier this year against UNC Wilmington. And, you know, this JMU team features a lot of transfers, as we talked about at the top of the broadcast. Hitchens, the transfer out of Akron, finding Bowles, the transfer out of Texas A&M. And Coach Matt Brady has done a great job of bringing guys into this program, Coach.
Well, they've been an interesting team. They were very good 2 years ago, and they had so many injuries last year. This year they've added those guys that were injured, plus they brought in a couple new pieces from Goins and Hitchens, and they are a very good basketball team. Very extremely talented.
And Skeen, a very tough leader with a little body contact and gets it to go off glass. James Madison, 11-5.
Both of these big guys we're going to look at today have tremendous all-around ability. The versatility is probably as good as most big people in the country.
Hitchens go way outside, and that is short. James Madison off to a good start, up 11-5, and Denzel Bowles has been dominant inside. Welcome back into the Convocation Center. James Madison off to a quick start, 11-5 on top of VCU. Two schools here in the CAA, and you can see we're in Harrisonburg, Virginia. VCU made that trip in from Richmond. See some of those famous alums. Gary Clark, one of the famous, and Steve Buckhantz, of course, our own Steve Buckhantz. Does a great job calling Wizards games from James Madison. And two teams, as we mentioned over the years, it has been VCU that has the best in this series, 42-20 advantage.
We talked about the energy level that Madison had to have tonight. This is such a better start than they've done in the last few ball games. Bowles has been on fire. The last ball game he played in, he did not score in the first half.
Goins misses, but Denzel Bowles does not. Rebound and put back flush. Madison up 13-5.
This has been that's been sort of one of the knocks on him. Not that you can really knock him because he's a great player, but some games he just doesn't come out with the energy that he's displayed here tonight.
Rodriguez, the kick over to Nixon, who misses the three. Out of bounds, and it'll stay with VCU. And Bowles, coach, has just been too tough to handle inside. Gets the rebound, his fourth of the game, and then throws it down. There is really not much you can do when Bowles gets that deep inside.
Well, you've got to get a body on him, but you can't let him get you that deep. That's a great point.
All right, a foul on James Madison. Burgess will go to the line. The 6'6" junior, making his 95th straight start. That is second all time at VCU.
He's approaching 1,000-point scoring, too. He's been a tremendous player, started every game since he walked on the VCU campus.
Averages 14 points, 6.3 rebounds a game.
He played at a great high school in Benedictine in Richmond. He was a teammate of Ed Davis, who was a draftee last year from North Carolina.
I imagine that was a pretty good high school team.
Yeah, very good. Year in, year out. They've been that way since I can remember. Full court
pressure provided by VCU. looking for the trap, and Madison beats it. Hitchens dribble into the middle, and he's going to kick it back out and reset. Davon Moore controlling the point. That pass is going to go out of bounds, and it was Hitchens who looked like he got tripped up as the pass was being delivered, but no foul called, and the fans here not too happy.
I don't think VCU has a lot of, they don't have a lot of fans here from VCU, so this is going to be, I thought it was just a good no call.
I think the legs got tangled up between Hitchens and Rodriguez. Rodriguez running the point for VCU, and a foul.
I think it might have been I don't know, it was either a foul or a 5-second call.
Looked like a moving pick there by...
They called it, but it was pretty close.
By Toby Veal. Kind of put the hip out a little bit. The referee right on top of the play.
You know, I've said many times, I can't believe how much better officials are now than when I was coaching. They don't make many mistakes than them sitting over here.
It's much easier to coach a game from here, isn't it?
Sure is.
What does VCU have to do to stop Bowles?
Again, we talked about it in the keys. They've got to limit his touches, and I don't think we can let him handle the ball as much as he's handled it, because he's also a great passer out of the post.
Rams hitting the boards hard. A couple of offensive rebounds, but can't get it to go. Loose ball, James Madison on it. It's Hitchens on the floor again. He's spending a lot of time on the hardwood, Coach.
But that's what Matt Brady wants. They want these guys to come out with great intensity, great focus, because they haven't been doing that in the last few ball games. That's just a great job of hustle. He didn't mind getting his knees skinned up on that one.
Oh, that time.
He touched the out of bounds. That's a good call by the referee. As I said, they see this game better than some of these people sitting in the stands.
That time it was Hitchens who tripped over his own player as he went for the loose ball. VCU down 5 with the ball. The kick up top and the long three is no good.
Rob Brandenburg is quite an athlete out there. He's only 6'2", but has a wingspan of 6'7", and he's got a 43-inch vertical. Quite an athlete to watch.
Good looking freshman. That cross-court pass is picked off. Chad Jackson, the freshman from Georgetown, Kentucky, in the game. Madison 3 turnovers in their last 3 possessions. Goes the big fella showing some range, Coach.
Right now, JMU is doing everything that Coach Brady wants them to do. VCU has to just take your time and don't try to get back in front too quickly.
Goins at 275 pounds. You don't see big fellas that can usually go out and shoot the ball like that, but he looks very comfortable.
I told you he looks more like a middle linebacker than a basketball player, but he can play.
VCU answers the hoop and the foul. Burgess.
It's a good example of what we talked about in the opening. Burgess has such a great ability to move without the basketball, and that really makes for the complete offensive play.
Burgess has done a real nice job of getting the ball to the rim. When you start out not shooting well, VCU has now changed their attack a little bit and trying to get the ball inside, and it's been Burgess that has been doing most of that work.
I've had VCU enough to know that they will have their streaks. They play for these big scoring streaks off of their pressure.
And Burgess completes the three-point play. VCU cut into the James Madison lead, 16-10 here in the first half. On the campus of James Madison University, the Convocation Center. It's CAA basketball on Comcast Sportsnet.
VCU makes every dribble a tough chore out there, as you just saw. They put so much pressure on the man with the basketball, and they do such a good job of playing the passing lanes that the guy has nothing to do but dribble around and you get in trouble, just like they did there.
How about Shaka Smart taking over this VCU program in his second season now there in Richmond? 45 and 15. What a couple of great campaigns he's been able to put together.
Now, they won 27 basketball games last year, the most by any rookie coach
the second most by any rookie coach in the history of college basketball. That's quite an feat.
Inside, the pass deflected off Goins. It's going to stay with VCU.
What VCU did right there is very good. They moved without the basketball. They're going to get a lot more open looks.
Well, VCU has answered. Burgess leading the way. He has 8. It's 16-10 midway through the first half. James Madison up 16-10. Half the points for the Dukes coming from Denzel Bowles, the senior preseason first-team All-CAA, and he has been perfect 4 for 4 from the field.
Well, you get a picture of his versatility right here. He moved without the ball, got an easy layup. He's in a deep post with a turnaround jumper. Now he works on the offensive boards, gets a putback. That shows you how versatile this young man is, especially at the offensive end.
Bowles also with 5 rebounds, nearly on his way there to a double-double, and such a tough matchup at 6'10", athletic around the rim, but could also stretch it out a little bit and bring that defense and knock down the jumper.
Well, he moves very well without the ball, but he can run the floor, too. He's got all kinds of capabilities out there. He's just got to do it every night for 40 minutes.
Bowles, number 2 in the CAA in scoring, number 3 in rebounding, and his field goal percentage at 58%. And when you throw down dunks the way he has early in this game, you're going to have a pretty high field goal percentage.
I'll tell you, I've seen him on the break. He'll catch it in one of the wing positions and takes it to the hole with the ball straight up in the air over the basket and stuff. He's a very, very talented young man.
Freshman Javante Reddick out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina at the line, knocked down the first.
I really like Reddick. I think he's come along, as I said, Shaka Smart has done a great job of bringing this young man on. He's improved as the season's gone on, and he's going to be quite a player in this program.
Yeah, it's 6'10", 230, but the coach said he added about 22 pounds of muscle in the weight room in the offseason, and that's made all the difference in the world for this youngster.
And that's happened since June, so you get an idea of how hard these players work. Their strength coach has done an amazing job with a lot of these players.
Timeout there by James Madison, and so far the Rams really have been able to hang in this game because they have attacked the rim and have been able to go to the line. They're 5 of 7 for the charity stripe. Madison has yet to go to the free throw line. Those 5 has kept VCU in this game.
Yes, it has, and of course the defense, you get an example of what happened right here. They put pressure on you 94 feet, and if you're not ready to concentrate and get the ball in bounds, they're going to come up with a steal, or you're going to have to take a timeout, which is what happened.
This is a tough stretch for VCU, the second of 3 straight CAA road games. That's the first time in 8 years the Rams have had to play 3 straight conference games on the road, and they're coming off a loss Wednesday to Northeastern. They lost by 11, and they have been very good coming back from losses this year. They've actually won all 5 games this year after losses. They got a little work to do here at James Madison if they want to keep that streak going.
Their history, they do not lose 2 games in a row. They have not for a long, long period of time.
Goins with the miss on the drive. VCU. Right, Nixon is going to shoot the 3, and he buries it. And Nixon, the senior, hits the 3-pointer, and that cuts the lead to just 1.
Well, right now we're going to see what Brandon Roselle can do after his injuries.
We know what Denzel Bowles can do. When he's around the rim, he attacks, and Bowles throws it down after a nice dish for the dunk.
And that's what we were just talking about. When he gets in the lane coming down that fast break, he can score with the best one.
That was a posterizing finish by Bowles. Nixon answers for VCU, but an acrobatic move inside. Chad Jackson, the freshman, on the finish.
I'll tell you, even though JMU has scored the last couple times, but I'm not sure they want to get themselves in a running game with this VCU basketball team.
We talked about this being two of the better offensive teams. VCU second in the CAA, averages 73.5 a game. James Madison third in conference, averaging 72.8 a game. And all of a sudden, this has turned into a bit of a track meet up and down the court.
Well, Brandon Roselle has been sitting out for about a month now with a broken hand. He's back, and that is a great news for this VCU basketball team.
With the coach, Charlie Rula, Brett Harris with you here in Harrisonburg, Virginia. James Madison and Virginia Commonwealth here in a little CAA basketball this Saturday afternoon on Comcast Sportsnet. Glad you could be with us. Great way to start this Super Bowl weekend with a little basketball. And the Rams inside, they get the 2 to fall, and again, it's a one-point game.
I thought they were going to call an offensive foul. We look at that again, it looked like he got hooked a little bit. But, you know, we talked about Brandon Roselle being back for VCU. On the other hand, JMU has lost Siminoff tonight. He's in a boot. He turned his ankle the last basketball game against William & Mary.
How big of a loss as we talk about Brandon Roselle. This senior averaging just over 13 points a game. How big a loss is it for VCU with him out of the lineup?
Well, I thought it was a very big loss because he's another guy who can score. I think Siminoff for Madison is also a very big loss. I think he's one of their better players. He does a lot of things for their basketball team.
Siminoff averaging about 7.5 a game this season and 3 rebounds a game. The sophomore out of Russia out for today's game. Jackson. Little bump and still gets the jumper to fall, and VCU answers with the deep pass and the finish on the other end by Reddick. And coach, before the game, that is a drill that VCU worked on over and over. The long pass to the big guys who would finish on the catch and the bucket. And they worked on that for about 15 minutes, about 2 hours before today's game.
Well, that's a 6'9" freshman running the floor that well. I mean, they have some great, talented players.
That jumper is missed, and going down hard is the freshman Jackson. He went up for the rebound and got taken out and fell hard on his hip, and he is down.
Well, I'm not sure it was anything intentional. It just when you go that hard to the boards, if anybody's in front of you, you're going to get knocked down, and I think that's what happened. We'll take a look at it here. But
keep your eye on Jackson. He's going to be on your left-hand side of your screen. He comes in.
It's hard to tell.
Goes over.
And he had just scored a basket the last time down, and that was a big plus for JMU because he has not been a very good scorer to this point, an excellent defender. But this young man was runner-up for Mr. Basketball in Kentucky.
Good to see the freshman up. Looks to be okay. Out of Georgetown, Kentucky, averaging 2.5 points a game. As you mentioned, maybe more of a defensive specialist, but off to a good start here in this game.
Well, he's a very good athlete, and his offensive game will come around. This JMU team has a lot of very good offensive players, so they really need him for his defense and for his energy level on the floor.
Jackson 4 early points, and look at the shooting comparisons. James Madison 10 of 16. They have done a nice job. Of course, they've had a lot of easy baskets inside by Bowles as well. All the 3 knocked down.
You're talking about a good shooter in Roselle. I mean, when he was out, that just took a big scoring notch out of their offensive repertoire.
We talked about him missing 8 games, what a big loss that was for them with him out, and we can see how big a scorer he is when he's in.
He just gives them that another guy who can get you 30 out there if he's on. And I mean, they missed him a great deal. The other guys have filled in well, but he is a senior and been around a long time, a very good, experienced player.
Well, VCU has fought back and now have a 2-point lead at 24-22. 8 minutes left here in the first half. Knocked out of bounds. Stay with James Madison.
We have 2 quality basketball teams playing each other. One emphasizes a great deal of defense in the 94 feet of VCU, whereas with JMU, you got one of the best scoring teams in the CAA.
Bowles a perfect 5 for 5, but he has not had a lot of touches here in the last 4 or 5 minutes, Coach.
That's the key, I think. You got to make it hard for him to get the ball. They've switched different people on him, and I think that's helped.
That is just a very difficult shot, and Hitchens knocks it down. Hitchens now with 5 points in the game. Theus answers for VCU.
They got 2 point guards on the floor right now, and he enjoys.
Hitchens drives off the dribble, misses. Bowles follows, he misses. Hitchens with an offensive rebound, kicks it out. Oh, the alley-oop, and Bowles finishes with a thunder dunk.
Well, that's what dribble penetration will do. If you let those guards get in the paint, they're going to draw people's big players, and then that sets up the perfect situation for the alley-oop.
Bowles now 12 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 dunks this afternoon.
I would call most of them rattling dunks.
They might have to change out the rim at halftime, Coach. Bowles has been throwing down some devastating.
We talked about it before the game. You're looking at 2 of the best post players in this league and probably in the country. Both of them are extremely versatile and play very hard.
The ball out of bounds. It's going to stay with James Madison. We'll take a timeout on the court. 28-26 VCU as Bowles continues to dominate inside.
I am a CAA student athlete. I respect myself. Through respecting myself, I respect my opponent. Through respecting my opponent, I respect the game. Through respecting the game, I respect the officials. And through respecting the officials, I respect the outcome. My example in victory and defeat nurtures respect in others. Will you follow my lead?
I'm Craig Northrup, graduate of the University of Maryland, coach of the Craig Northrup team with Long & Foster Real Estate. I've drafted an all-star team of 40 full-time agents. If selling homes was like shooting hoops, the Northrup team of Long & Foster would score more points with its innovative technology and world-class service. Just like winning the game, we realize the importance of working hard for your victory. That's how the Craig Northrup team has become the #1 Long & Foster team in Eastern Washington. Get in touch with that experienced agent now. Log on to northrupteam.com today.
A guy named his own price wants a room tonight for $65.
We don't go lower than 130.
Big deal. Persuade.
Well, VCU has battled back. They have a 2-point advantage, and Burgess and Skeen, a big part of that. Burgess now 10 points, a perfect 3 for 3 from the field.
Well, they're doing everything for their team. We talked about the importance when they get to basketball. That's just a great move to the baseline by Skeen. Here we go with Burgess moving without the basketball. And if you can move without the basketball and play with the basketball, you're tough to guard.
Those two have half of VCU's points. Here's a look at the mid-majors top 25, and the CAA coach well represented, and you can see VCU at number 4. George Mason tied atop the conference. Both those teams with 10-2 records, number 6 in the country. Madison checking in at number 22.
Well, the league is very tough this year. I don't think there's any doubt about it. And this next few weeks is really going to be important to all these teams because they're all playing for those top 4 seeds.
Burgess has been perfect tonight, 3 for 3 from the field, 3 from 3 from the line, and has knocked down his only 3-point attempt. VCU on the break, and the easy bucket by Burgess.
We said JMU does not want to get in a running game with VCU because that's the way they play. They play that way every single night, and most teams don't do that, so they're well ready to go up and down for 40 minutes.
Goins, that's a great look from the big fella as Bowles came across on the curl and with an easy finish, and Bowles now with 14 points.
That's a great high-low situation. You get the ball to Goins out front. There's no help when you feed the guy from high to low post, and that's what happened on that play.
Skeen looking to answer first the contact before the block. Bowles very physical, that long reach too. where you can see Skeen.
You get a great example of how he takes the contact and then puts the shot up. A lot of guys try to do them both and they get knocked down the floor. He had a legitimate shot in making the three-point play the old-fashioned way. But Bowles makes a great block.
Skeen doing a nice job, too, going with the left hand, able to absorb the contact before trying to get that shot off. And knocks down the first of two.
Now we're looking at a great basketball game right now. Both these teams shooting extremely well. VCU about 56% and JMU 60%.
Jamie Skeen, the senior, 6'9", 240 transfer out of Wake Forest. Leads the Rams at 14.4 points a game, 7.8 rebounds a game. He really does it all. Also has 27 blocks this season. He's scored in double figures in 20 of their 23 games. He has been Mr. Consistent.
See, right here is a good example how VCU makes you work from the time you gain possession to the time you lose possession. They're going to work.
And the Rams already going deep into the bench. They have played 10 here this afternoon, and that is not uncommon for a Shaka Smart team.
Well, here we go with another high-low. He just missed it. You got to finish those.
Bellens got caught a little under the basket, missed the layup. Up next, boy, if you want some CAA basketball, we got a good one after this one. 2 o'clock tip, Old Dominion and George Mason coming at you.
I tell you, that's just good one-on-one basketball by Skeen.
Skeen now with 8 points, 3 rebounds, and starting to take over this game, the senior. And that's what you expect, Coach, out of your senior.
Well, that's why this VCU team is so good. They're not only well coached, but they're experienced, and they call on their experience. They know each other well. It's just like Joey Rodriguez. He makes all his teammates better because he knows them so well.
When the Rams were down early, Coach, they did not panic. They now have a 6-point lead at 34-28. And they've done it with defense. They've been hot at shooting the ball. He started out so cold, but when they heated up, they've heated up in a big way.
Well, they're one of the teams that you better not ever rest when you got the ball offensively, because they're going to defend you and they're going to take the ball away. As we said, they have turned opponents over about 17 times a game.
They're going to get Hitchens with a reach-in foul on Skeen's dribble drive.
Foul on number 33.
Replay. Skeen's matched up there with Goins.
That's a 6'9" youngster making those kind of moves. I mean, he can play like a perimeter player.
VCU with the possession off the foul. It's Nixon up top, looking for the pick. We've got a foul on the floor.
All of their players, Brent, are so good off the bounce that they make you guard them. If you put hands on them, they're going to call it. They can all penetrate. They can all stop and shoot the jump shot. They're a very tough team to defend.
7th team foul, so Nixon will go to the line. Shooting the 1-and-1.
Nixon's really given his team a burst here since Roselle has been hurt. And he's come in there, he's averaging double figures at that point, and he can do a lot of things. He can beat you off the bounce, and he's an excellent defender.
Coach Shaka Smart says Nixon sets the tone for what he calls that wrecking havoc style defense. A defensive specialist, but the team kind of goes how Nixon goes, and he's the tone setter for this Rams squad.
He calls him one of his energy twins.
And Coach, you know you always need one of those on your team.
When somebody plays as hard as he does, you feel guilty out there if you don't play hard.
Oh, a tough finish by Julius Wells. Shake it off the contact and gets it to go off glass. Timeout on the floor. VCU up 36-30. Just under 4 minutes to go here in the first half. And welcome back as VCU Rams have clawed their way back and now have a 6-point lead at 36-30, just inside 4 minutes to go here in the first half. Take a look back at that 2009 VCU team. Of course, Eric Maynard now in the NBA. What a dynamic player he was. Anthony Grant, the head coach back then. But boy, VCU has really a proud tradition, and they have been dominant in the CAA the last couple of years, and have had a couple of players go off to the NBA as well. And that continues now, that tradition.
Well, I tell you what, they are the first team in the history of Virginia basketball to have 2 #1 round draft picks, and Eric Maynor and Larry Sanders. Both excellent players, both had great careers in this league, and both are now in the NBA.
Yeah, that was 2009 when VCU won the CAA championship. And Maynor, a 2-time Conference Player of the Year. And he was so good, so fun to watch over the years. And I'm sure a lot of the other coaches in conference weren't too upset to see him go off to the association.
Well, I tell you what, in the last 2 minutes of basketball games, without a doubt, he's probably been the most exciting player I've had a chance to watch in the last 5-10 years.
One shot.
Wells, a chance to finish off the three-point play. Now 5 points in the game. 36-31 now.
We said that we felt like Bowles needed a lot of help against a team of the caliber of VCU. They've got to get Wells more involved in the offense because Bowles has done the majority of the scoring.
Freshman Chad Jackson back on the floor for James Madison. Good to see after going down hard on his hip on the rebound, but he's okay and back in the game with the ball. Jones setting the pick. Hitchens is going to take it, stop him, hit the jumper, knocks it down. Hitchens.
That's just a great basketball move. Joey Rodriguez was all over him. He just stopped, created space, and jumped up over him.
Hitchens with 7 points. And a long three-pointer is off the mark by Ed Nixon. James Madison looking to push. Hitch in the kick out, and Wells is going to shoot the three and buries it.
That's what we said. They need his scoring tonight in order to beat this team. He is very important. I think that's about his 9th point now.
It's an 8-0 Duke's run, and we are tied at 36. James Madison 3 for 4 from behind the arc. They shoot it at about a 39% clip, 3rd in conference. And the three-pointer has helped him out big here in the first half.
They rely on Wells to hit a lot. As I said, 2 or 3 games ago, he had 9 for 11, which is quite a feat.
He said before this game tipped off, Coach, you got to have your head on a swivel and look at the shooting percentages. Both teams on fire here this afternoon.
That's a smart move by Skeen there. He knew he might draw a charge, so he backed it up.
A three-pointer off the mark, no foul called. Bowles out in front, and he's going to get, oh, he just misses the layup off the front of the rim. Rodriguez pushes. He's going to kick it outside to Burgess for 3. That is no good. James Madison with the rebound. A good idea. Get it back inside to Bowles. The turnaround jumper is off the mark. Bowles has missed his last 2 shots. We have a tie-up and a jump ball. Possession arrow goes to VCU.
I'll tell you what, you get an idea right there of how good players or even great players have a very short-term memory. They don't worry about a shot they just missed, like Bowles the last time down missed that layup. They come right back, do their job, get the ball in there, and they take the shot.
This correction, the arrow to James Madison. I think they may have it backwards over on the scores table. That shot off the mark. Goins knocked down a three-pointer earlier in the game, and he still is feeling it. That ball out of bounds, and it's going to go to the Rams.
We'll have to take a look at that one. I think he passed up a good shot and threw back for a not-so-good shot. And I guess the officials couldn't call it, so they went to the jump ball situation, and that turned it over to VCU.
The 3 earlier in the game by Goins, just his 2nd all season. I guess the big fella feeling it after knocking one down. Now James Madison applying a little pressure here in the man-to-man. Bowles coach jumps out. Skeen gets the kick, shoots, and knocks down the three.
We're getting a chance to watch two of the best big men around play against each other, and they're both playing very, very well.
Skeen now with 11 as he gets into double figures. VCU up 3, 39-36, inside a minute here in the first half. The drive out of bounds. Off of James Madison. VCU will get possession with a 3-point lead and 50 seconds left here in the first half. Inside look from Rodriguez, and that is rejected by Jackson. The shot no good. Kick out. Burgess. They'll reset. The shot clock is off. Rodriguez pulls it out to midcourt to set the offense. Burgess gives it right back to Rodriguez inside, and they're going to get him on the charge call.
Well, not a good decision that time by Joy. I think he might have been able to stop when he got the ball and shoot the little jump shot. Right there, I think he had the little shot, but he went a little too far and ran over the man.
And Rodriguez gets into the lane. Maybe a little out of control, gets nailed with a charge. And Madison looks like they'll have the possession for the final shot here in the first half. Moore. 2, 1 on the clock. Moore misses the shot, and that is the end of the first half. VCU, great comeback here. They were down early. They come all the way back and have a 3-point advantage, 39-36. Bowles was so terrific in the first part of this first half, 14 points. Big difference from that first half against William & Mary.
Well, their whole team had a far better energy level than they did on Wednesday night. And
all right, we're going to bring in the head coach for Virginia Commonwealth, Shaka Smart. And, well, you guys got down early in this, but you never wavered. What a nice comeback you guys had, and you were able to control Bowles there over the last 8 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, he's a load in there. Our guys did a great job. You got to fight for your life down there when he's posting on the low block. I thought our guys showed a lot of resolve, particularly when we came out shooting the ball cold, and then we made some shots later in the half.
Well, you guys did a good job of showing patience when they jumped out and hit some shots early. I thought stayed with your game plan well.
We did. We just got to continue to defend. If we can hold them in the 30s for the second half, we should be in good shape. But it's 20 minutes. We got to dig in. It's going to be a war.
Coach, best of luck in the second half.
Thanks, guys.
And Shaka Smart, head coach of VCU. Burgess with 12, Skeen with 11 for the Rams as they have the 3-point advantage, 39-36. Our halftime festivities continue here from James Madison. And welcome back here on the campus at James Madison University. The Rams of VCU with a 3-point lead here at halftime. Here's a look at the CAA Players of the Week, and boy, it's been a good week in the CAA. We've seen some jockeying around at the top of the standings, and of course we have a good one here as VCU looks to keep pace with George Mason, who will play later today.
Well, I think the league is really picking up, and there's the next couple of weeks going to tell a lot. The Players of the Week have been extremely good this week. Chason Allen from Northeastern has really jumped forward and has improved his game very much in the last 5 or 6 ball games.
Of course, Northeastern with a good win over VCU this week. Allen averaged 20.7 and 0.7 rebounds in their 3 wins. So they got off to a slow start, Northeastern, but boy, they have picked it up recently, and Allen a big part of that. Frank Hassel out of Old Dominion. Hassel averaged 18.7 and 9 rebounds as ODU went a perfect 3-0.
Well, Frank Hassel is another one of the big men in this league that is outstanding. He's about 6'9", weighs about 280 pounds, and he is very, very tough. He is a low post presence to beat all.
Drexel's Darte Ruffin, your CAA Rookie of the Week as well. And here's a look at what's coming up today. And you can see Old Dominion and George Mason right here on Comcast Sportsnet when we are finished. A 2 o'clock tip. And that was Georgia State and Towson, Northeastern and Hofstra both at 4 o'clock. William & Mary and UNC Wilmington will tip at 7. And then Drexel and Delaware, always a good one up north. 8 o'clock game between those two. Of course, all eyes will be on Old Dominion and George Mason. Old Dominion 10-2, along with VCU. George Mason at the top of the CAA conference. We'll be back with more from halftime. The Convocation Center, one of the true home court advantages in the CAA. And right now, it is the Dukes down 3 at halftime, 39-36 to VCU. Time now to welcome in our student reporter, Caitlin Crumpton from James Madison University. Caitlin, welcome to the broadcast.
Thanks, Brent. The Colonial Athletic Association would like to acknowledge today's Dean Eller's Leadership Award nominees presented in recognition to the longtime James Madison University Athletic Director's contributions to intercollegiate athletics. This award recognizes the men's and women's basketball student athletes who embody the highest standards of leadership, integrity, and sportsmanship in conjunction with their academic and athletic achievements. Today's nominee for James Madison University is Ben Louie, a senior from Melbourne, Australia, who is a sports management major, and representing Virginia Commonwealth University is Brandon Roselle from Richmond, Virginia, a senior who is majoring in psychology. Ken and Brent and Charlie will be right back with our first half stats and highlights.
James.
Welcome back to the Convocation Center here on the campus of James Madison University as VCU has a 3-point lead here at halftime. And we knew that Denzel Bowles, the senior, was going to be a handful for VCU. He lives up to the hype here in the first half with 14 points, and he was just about perfect.
He did everything you want your players to do. He moved well without the ball. He shot the ball. He rebounded the ball well. He just had a great first half. Here we got an example right there. Burgess, who moved so well without the ball also. He had a good first half. They got a good game out of Hitchens in the first half. JMU did. So this is a great basketball game to this point. Both teams playing extremely well. They're well scores. And we got a good one going here, Brent.
Well, James Madison has been led by Bowles and Wells. Bowles has 14. Wells has 8. For VCU, it's been Skeen and Burgess. Burgess with 12 leading the way. Jamie Skeen has 11. Looking at your halftime stats, and pretty good shooting there by both teams, but especially by James Madison at 55%. It's been the foul line that has kept VCU in this one, making 9 from the charity stripe. All right, second half is straight away. Boy, the kids are enjoying this one. A lot of high-flying action. A lot of points on the board. 39-36. VCU second half is straight ahead. Great crowd here at the Convocation Center at James Madison. Even the VCU fans making the drive from Richmond. Their team with a 3-point lead here at the break. We bring in Duke's head coach Matt Brady. And coach, first half very even statistically. What do you hope to get differently out of your squad here in the second half?
Well, we've got to play better in transition defense. They scored twice. When we scored a basket within 10 seconds, they get a run out going the other way. Our turnovers led to a couple baskets for them. And then we've got to do a better job of rotating when they swing the ball off those ball screens. They do a really great job of ball screen and throw it back and throw the ball to the weak side corner. We got to take away that jump shot too. But hopefully it'll be a good second half.
Coach, we appreciate your time. Best of luck here in the second half. And Charlie, one of the things that has kept VCU, it did keep VCU in this game early, was the fact they were able to get to the foul line. And they were able to make 9 from the charity stripe.
Well, I think that's basically the difference in the ball game at this point. They were 9 for 11, and Madison was 1 out of 1. So that was the difference in the ball game. Both teams played good defense. Both teams executed at the offensive end. I expect another high-energy second half.
Take a look at our leading scorers for the first half. Burgess leading the way for VCU, 4-6 shooting and 12 points. Bowles off to that hot start, 7 for 10 from the floor, also with the 6 rebounds, 14 points. But Wells, as you mentioned, needs to be that really good complementary player to Bowles. Well, he was 3 for 3 from the field, 1 for 1 from the line. He's been perfect today with his 8 points.
Well, you know, just as we said that as we were going along, I said that Wells has got to help this team more. He got 5 straight points. I think that's when they closed the gap and got right back into the ballgame. And Hitchens has given them pretty good minutes the first half, too. So those two have to help in the scoring for JMU.
Alongside the coach, Charlie Woolen, Brad Harris here at James Madison University. Little CAA basketball this Saturday afternoon. Glad you could be a part of it. It's our first of a doubleheader. There's George Mason and Old Dominion coming up right after this one. VCU comes out with a 3-point lead. And Coach, your keys here for the second half after we have watched 20 minutes of basketball. What does VCU have to do to keep this lead?
Well, I think VCU just got to keep on keeping on. They got to play their game, which they did a good job in the first half. Run the ball at every opportunity, which they just did. And I think for Madison, they got to get the ball inside a little more and get to the foul line, because that's where they can catch up.
You heard Coach Matt Brady talk about those quick buckets. That VCU gets down the court so fast that we just saw them answer another James Madison hoop. And that is something that he said they really need to focus on here in the second half.
Well, it sort of takes the starch out of you. When you work hard, execute hard, and make a good shot, and then they come down one pass, quick layup at the other end, then you've had to work, and they didn't.
Rodriguez with his second personal foul here this afternoon. Just underway here in the second half. The long three-pointer by Hitchens is no good. Drive by Moore, and that is rejected. VCU controls off of the block shot. And the kick out. And that is no good. An air ball. And then a foul. Foul was called on the 3.
Well, I think they'll give Burgess an assist on that. He's going to say, of course, it was a pass.
Of course, the air ball, and they got the foul. Looked like on maybe the elbow.
I tell you what, that's 2 opportunities they've had in transition, and that's exactly what Coach Brady said he had to stop. They have got to make a better transition from offense to defense.
A lot of pressure by the Rams in the front court. Dukes break that pressure. Good kick out, but the three-pointer is no good by Wells. Good job by saving it there by VCU. Rodriguez, good dish. Boy, that is a very difficult finish by Burgess on the alley-oop pass.
I tell you, Coach Brady talked about that. He told us about that. And the 3 baskets that VCU has gotten the second half have come in transition.
Well, an early 7-2 run here in the second half by VCU as they open up the lead to 46-38. For the latest scores, standings, and news on all your CAA sports, log on to CAAsports.com. It's presented by Ramada Worldwide. You do your thing. Leave the rest to us. VCU jumping out to a quick start here in the second half of 46-38. And Davon Moore, point guard for James Madison, has struggled so far in this game. 0 for 5. He does have 3 assists, but he averages just over 10 points a game, and he has not been able to do much offensively so far.
Well, he is a very good offensive player. He's just got to step up and take some shots because, I don't think he shot the ball very much. At least haven't been real good shots. There's one right there. Good job.
Good floater, boy. We must have heard us over here, Coach.
He is very important to this basketball team.
And a nice rebound. And it's Moore pushing. Inside to Bowles. Oh, and he gets all around the baseline for a little jump hook, and Bowles knocks it down. James Madison within 4.
That's a great example to young people, how to get position and hold it so you have an easy pass into the post, as is that.
Bowles with 18. 9 for 12 from the field. A lot of his points, Coach, been right around the rim.
See, that's just a great seal right there. He kept a man on his back, provided his teammate with a good opportunity, a good angle to get the ball to him, and he finished.
Humpty Hitchens, nice job with the entry pass. And Bowles with a nice seal and delivers the finish. Burgess at the line. The 6'6" junior who led the way there in the first half for VCU.
Devon Moore 2 years ago was probably one of the best freshman point guards in the country. And he has set out all last year with injuries. Come back, he's played very well, but he hasn't been as consistent as he was 2 years ago.
Hitchens for three is no good off the front of the iron. Rodriguez pushing, Hitchens fell down. Inside, good looking spin move. And we've got a foul on Bowles.
We've got two youngsters in this ball game playing the point that are both up for the Bob Cousy Award for point guards. That's quite a thing to have two guys in the same game. Joey Rodriguez and Devon Moore.
Two fouls on the senior Bowles. Joey Rodriguez resetting the offense. 20 seconds on the shot clock. The long three, no good, and Hitchens skies for the rebound. Looks to take Rodriguez off the dribble. We got a hand check out front. A foul on Rodriguez, his third.
That'll hurt.
Shaka Smart will make a move. Rodriguez heads to the bench. Darius Theus will check in.
Anytime that point guard or one of your guards can get in the paint, the defense has to break down because somebody's got to stop the ball.
Theus, a pretty good point guard as well. Averages about 4 points, 3 assists a game. But it's Nixon who's going to push it right to the rim. His shot no good. And we got a blocking foul.
Yeah, I think what the official saw as he slid under and right at the last moment, and sort of knocked him out of his path to the basket. We'll take a look at it, but here it comes.
Treyon Flores is going to get caught.
That's pretty close. Well, there's a good example on the last play of what we're talking about, Devon Moore. 2 years ago, that's in the bucket. Tonight, he was just unsure of himself whether to roll it in or get up high and try to dunk it. He is very crucial to the success of this JMU team. They've got to get him back in the flow.
So Ed Nixon to the line, shooting two. Nixon averages 8 points a game. The senior had 16 against UNC Wilmington and Tennessee earlier this year.
This basketball team beat UCLA earlier in the year, so you know they're a very, very well-coached, highly talented basketball team, VCU.
And Nixon misses both of those foul shots. As VCU continues to lead by 6. Boy, great CAA basketball matchup here to start your college basketball Saturday. James Madison, VCU, here in the Colonial Athletic Association on Comcast Sportsnet. Bowles inside, the hook won't go, and VCU with the rebound. Theus in for Rodriguez, and that pass by Theus, there's a turnover.
That's an excellent anticipation by Bowles to get out in the passing lane and knock the ball away.
Moore, boy, a hesitation again, as you mentioned earlier, Charlie. I don't think he was sure if he was going to shoot or pass, decided to shoot and misses.
If you leave the floor, you better plan to shoot because you can't change your mind in the air or you'll run over somebody.
Little indecision as Moore has had his struggles from the field today. Just 1 for 8 shooting. What a beautiful spin move, but unable to finish by Jamie Skeen. Skeen. And we have a timeout on the floor. Skeen shaken up a little bit as he fell hard to the floor. He says he'll be all right. We'll take a break. VCU on 48-42 with 15 here in the second half. CAA basketball on Comcast Sportsnet this Saturday afternoon, and a good one. VCU visiting James Madison here at the campus in Harrisonburg, Virginia. And there's not a lot of people outside because they're all inside here in the Convocation Center. One of the real tough places to play in the CAA. And James Madison has played well this year at home, coach. 10-2 on their home court, but they find themselves down 6 here with about 15 minutes left in the second half.
Well, there's plenty of time. You know, these people have to realize, I think, that Coach Brady has one of the best basketball teams in the CAA right now. They need to come out like this every game and support him, and this will be a tough place to beat JMU in if they've got good support and fans.
By the way, VCU has been very good in televised games this season. They've won 12 of the last 15, 7-2 this year in TV games. James Madison, on the contrary, just 2-5 when playing in TV games. So when the lights are brightest, the Rams really step up.
I think that's a very accurate statement, Ed, because I think their 2 losses have come at Northeastern and at Georgia State when they just didn't have a lot of people in the stands. I don't know what it is. Sometimes the guys don't seem to be quite as ready to play when they don't have a lot of support. Television obviously does a lot for them, but you can see this is quite a good basketball team.
Not an empty seat in the house this afternoon at James Madison, and sometimes, Coach, can a visiting team even play off of that emotion, that energy?
That's the point I'm making. I think right now, you know, they sort of put that energy into this team, and they're a pressing team. They play 94 feet, and that's what they need is a high energy level.
Flores knocks it down. It's a 2, and his foot on the line as Flores gets his first basket of the game.
Well, he started a lot of games last year and had a pretty good season when all these guys were out hurt. So he's a real plus to this team when he comes in and makes a shot.
Rodriguez continues to sit with 3 fouls for VCU. Theus at the point guard position. Entry pass. On the blocks. Skeen. He's going to kick it out. He wants it back. And they get it to Veal, who's going to finish. Nice looking drive, and 2 for Toby Veal.
Well, Toby was a starter early in the season, and he got hurt and has been out for much of the season, but been back about the last 3 games, and he'll be a big boost to him heading into tournament time.
Had a meniscus injury and then came back, then he had a back injury and had to miss another game. Back in the lineup.
Great penetration that time by Hitch. Got to finish it.
Good rebound by Flores. Offensive board. The Dukes will reset to Bowles, and he kicks it over to Flores. In trouble in the quarter. Finds Hitchens. Cross court, and Moore finish. Good decision that time. Didn't look for the pass, he looked for the layup.
Absolutely, he made up his mind, went in there, no hesitation. That's what he's got to do. You just play the game. Don't try to make the game harder than it is.
As you mentioned, Devon Moore, candidate for the Bob Cousy Award, which he goes to top point guard in the country. Theus is going to take a long 3, and that is no good. Bowles with the rebound. Moore starting to feel it. The breakdown and the spin and the kiss off the glass. Moore is heating up.
Well, what you and I said at the break, he's doing the hard things. That's getting in there. Now the easy things he's got to finish, and he has done it the last 2 times. He's a very talented point guard. He's got to play his game.
Shaka Smart in VCU having to call the timeout as James Madison on a little run here, and it's led by Devon Moore, the sophomore.
I think he's attuned to our broadcast.
Devon Moore 14 times this year, has been in double figures, averages just over 10 a game, but he started out slow, just 1 for his first 8 in this game. But he is beginning to heat up. And James Madison now playing off his emotion.
Sometimes I think, as I said, players make this game harder than it is. Play with your instincts. That's what he's done the last few times. He's done a good job of getting to the basket, but he's thought about it when he's gotten in there. Play with your instincts.
He's made 2 of his last 3. James Madison has now cut the lead to 4 at 52-48. 12:47 left. Charlie Woolham, Brett Harris here. CAA basketball on the campus at James Madison.
And that you don't need right there. JMU, that puts them at 6 fouls. 1 more, they're going to be in the VCU is going to be in the bonus.
And that foul is so far away from the basket.
Does no good. Does no good.
And Check Rodriguez back in the game for the Rams after sitting for about 4 or 5 minutes with 3 fouls. He's the engine. He's the guy that makes it go for VCU. Back inside. Well, that's a tough shot.
That's good defense.
Skeen.
Good defense by Goins that time.
The VCU with the offensive rebound. The kick out. Skeen couldn't get it done inside, tries outside, and that doesn't go. Another offensive rebound, and Rodriguez will reset it for VCU.
You cannot give up scoring opportunities on 2nd and 3rd shots.
And VCU doing a great job of hitting the boards here in the second half. Shot clock at 15. Rodriguez sets the offense and calls the play. He's going to use the pick by Skeen. Or the kick back to Skeen. The 3-pointer is up by Burgess, and that is no good.
That's a good defensive series for JMU.
Wells, the triple, is off the mark. And VCU looking to push it. Rodriguez, good look to Nixon. Nixon inside, and the finish as Burgess gets it to go. VCU now up 54-48.
Good percentage of VCU's baskets this half have been in transition, and that's the very thing that Coach Brady told his team they had to do a better job at.
Textbook style fast break by VCU, and it was started by the point guard Rodriguez. Goins, and that was telegraphed, his entry pass, and it is picked off.
That's another example of how well this VCU team plays the passing lanes. Good anticipation, good position to make the break on the ball, and they come up with a steal.
Rodriguez to Burgess. Skeen looking to work the post, and Coach, I think he took an extra step.
I'd like to see that again. He may have stepped back on his pivot foot.
Well, Davon Moore picking it up for James Madison. It's 54-48 VCU in the second half. It is VCU with a 6-point advantage about midway through the second half, and the Rams have been led by Brad Burgess today. 20 points, 7 of 13 from the field. He's a perfect 5 for 5 from the free throw line, and the junior averages 14 points a game. He has picked it up here today, Coach.
Well, we talked in the opening about how the 2 bigs from VCU had to come along and score, and both of them have done a great job. Jamie Skeen and Brad Burgess.
Burgess, a junior, but he started right away as a freshman, and you can see that experience now really showing, because VCU got off to a slow start, and they needed somebody to pick them up, and it was Bradford Burgess who was there for them.
Devon Moore's penetration is causing problems for VCU's defense right now. He's able to beat his man and get into the paint. He's very good off the bounce.
Good hands by Skeen. Up to Rodriguez, and the three-pointer is hoisted, but no good.
That's another transition opportunity for VCU.
Rozelle with a miss. It seems Rozelle, after missing 8 games with a broken hand, trying to find his flow into this game. We haven't heard his name a lot this afternoon.
Well, it takes a while when you've been out injured for a while, and it'll take him a little bit longer. I didn't expect him to come in here and really pick up right where he left off. But he is a big plus for this team because he gives them another score plus another fine athlete with great experience.
Good crossover dribble in the pass, but unable to handle it is the freshman Reddick underneath, and it's a turnover. These two teams just about even in the turnover differential. As VCU with 9, James Madison with 11. Bowles turn around, jumper in and out. Good follow on the offensive board, and the finish by Chad Jackson, the freshman.
VCU is forcing Bowles out a little farther than he was getting the ball in the first half. They're taking him out of his comfort zone somewhat.
VCU up 4, 54-50. Reddick, after not being able to handle the pass, he gets a little dribble, gets free, and knocks down the jumper.
That young man's got a great future ahead of him. He can shoot the basketball as well as being a good athlete at 6'10".
Coming up next after this game, Old Dominion, George Mason. A great day of CAA basketball right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Looking forward to that one. This one looks like we'll have a great finish in this one, and then we go to 2 of the top teams in the CAA coming up. As Old Dominion and George Mason hook up.
That's another transition opportunity that VCU had. And if Madison is going to have a chance to win this basketball game, they're going to have to do a better job in transition defense. Not only do you have to get back, but you got to locate the scores. They haven't done very well at that the second half.
Skeen heads to the bench. 11 points for him so far. 4 of 10 shooting. He's cooled off here in the second half. James Madison looking to cut into that 6-point Rams lead. Hitchens works off the pick. Oh, nearly threw that one away. Shot clock inside 10. It's Moore. He's bumped by Rozelle.
What happens when he penetrates like that is he's able to get people putting their hands all over him and bumping him.
And we get a timeout on the floor. VCU up 6, 56-50 here at James Madison. Well, VCU trying to keep pace with George Mason at the top of the CAA standings. And Mason hosting Old Dominion coming up right after our game. 2 o'clock tip from Fairfax. Old Dominion, what a great coaching matchup, Coach Blaine Taylor and Jim Larinaga. Boy, George Mason has won 8 straight. Old Dominion has won 4 straight. This one, I anticipate, is going to be a great game.
You got 2 of the best coaches, not only in the CAA, but in the country. Both of them are tremendous. Of course, everybody remembers when George Mason went to the Final Four about 5 years ago.
Man, what a great run that was. How much fun it was to see Jim Larinaga just enjoying that time and that run through the NCAA tournament. And they have continued to have a lot of success there at the top of the conference standing.
Those are 2 good teams matching up this afternoon. We're going to see what gives.
Well, we have mentioned this is a big game for James Madison. They're tied for 5th in the CAA, and it's so important to try to get into the top 4 seeds in conference as you get into the conference tournament because of the bye.
Here's an example of putting your hands on the dribbler. You can't do it. You can't put both hands on. But you're absolutely correct. Those top 4 seeds are so important. You only have to play 3 nights instead of 4.
Shaka Smart, head coach there for the Rams, encouraging his team to play defense. Three-pointer put up there and knocked down by Chad Jackson. The freshman has been big today.
He's playing a very good ball game. It's the best game so far I've seen him play. He's a very talented athlete.
It's a three-point game. VCU looking for the answer, and that was a good call on the travel. Looked like an extra step, and he may have lost his shoe. It may have contributed to the to the travel violation.
He slid. He actually skidded down there like the floor was wet or something.
Well, the sock doesn't have much traction, and
no, that's exactly right.
A slid across the floor, and you're going to get called for that every time.
It's like a hockey rink.
Flores with the ball up top quickly gets that to Jackson. Bowles looking to work the baseline. Spin move by Bowles, and that's going to be a goaltend call. Count the basket. It's 20 points now for Bowles. James Madison cuts the lead to 1.
Denzel Bowles is doing everything he can to win this basketball game. That's just a great spin move. Good shot, goaltend. And that score got this crowd into the ball game.
And the crowd to their feet. James Madison now down just 1. For Bowles, his 25th 20-point game of the season. Preseason first-team All-CAA, and he's showing why today. Rodriguez off the dribble. He just misses the jumper. Here come the Dukes. Moore on the drive. And he's going to get the foul before the block, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2.
Well, we said we felt like JMU had to get to the foul line a little more in the second half. They've done just that.
More aggressive. They've pushed the ball a little more here in the second half on the fast break opportunities. Moore will go to the line. He's shooting 2.
Got to make these. They've got themselves in a position now, the last 6 minutes of this ball game, starting on the next foul, they're going to go for 1-and-1s, and that's a definite plus. Both teams have 6 personal fouls in the second half.
Madison, this is just their 3rd free throw of the day. They have not been to the line very much, and Moore knocks it down his 7th point of the game.
From now on, every time they get a holding foul or hands on the dribble foul, they're going to go to the foul line. That's important.
Both teams with 16 fouls. Burgess on the drive, and Bowles with the rejection into the student section at James Madison.
I tell you, these big guys are putting on a show out there this afternoon.
The second block of the day, 44 blocks now on the season. He is tough inside offensively, but he can be devastating on the defensive side as well. Flores got the block from behind. VCU the offensive rebound. Rodriguez puts up the long 3, and that goes in and out. James Madison with the rebound and a chance to take the lead.
He had to take that because the shot clock was down the floor. He had no choice.
Moore, nice crossover inside, and the floater goes. The Dukes up 2, 58-56, and Devon Moore has been huge in the second half.
Well, you see what kind of talent that young man has. We talked about it early in this half, and he has flat out turned it on since then.
Devon Moore now with 9 points. Nice crossover, gets inside, and beats the defender with a nice-looking floater.
Well, there was no indecision on that shot. He knew what he was trying to do, and that was get in there and score, and that's exactly what he did.
All right, the fans here, James Madison on their feet, and they can feel a good comeback by the Dukes as they now have the lead at 58-56.
They've got all these people in here now in with them, too, so that's going to really keep that energy level where it has to be for the rest of the afternoon.
First lead since the first half for the Dukes when it was 22-21. And just like VCU clawed their way back into it early, it's been James Madison who has fought their way through the second half to take the lead here with 5:11 left in the second half.
And what JMU has done a good job of the last few minutes is play defense at their end of the floor. They forced VCU into some very difficult shots.
Full court pressure by the Dukes. Joey Rodriguez beats it into the front court. And the Rams will set the offense. Showed a lot of resiliency there in the first half. We'll see how they answer this James Madison run. Rodriguez thought about the long three, the drive, and really get a foul called on the drive.
That's a gift from JMU on that one because they had worked him down to where he had no shot at all, and they dropped the axe right at the end, and right there. It just kills you.
On the arm, they'll call it 2 shots. Here's a look at the replay. They get Hitchens on the foul.
He had to make that shot, and there's very little chance of it.
Hitchens now has 3 fouls. As Rodriguez goes to the line to shoot 2. Knocks down the first, one more coming.
This is the time of the game when that foul shooting becomes very, very important. Both teams are in the bonus. Whoever can make the foul shots has a good shot at winning this basketball game.
Joey Rodriguez, first points of the game. Averages 11. Knocks down the second. He now has 2.
And don't be shocked if he ends up in double figures with only 4.5 minutes to go because he's the guy that's going to be handling the ball for VCU.
Well, the senior out of Merritt Island, Florida. He does it all. Hasn't been called upon to have to score today. He also distributes and runs the offense. But he hasn't done a lot offensively now, just 2 points.
He's got 2 points today. He had 28 2 games ago. That shows he does what it takes for his team to win.
Big difference from the free throw line today. But VCU has certainly taken advantage. The 3 by Skeen, and he's going to knock it down. That is a huge shot as VCU takes the 3-point lead. The Dukes looking to answer. Inside 4 minutes. Bowles, nice look to Moore inside for the easy lay-in and cuts the VCU lead to 1.
That sets him apart from so many big people as he has such good vision when he handles the ball in the post.
Inside, Skeen switches hands and misses, but he gets the foul. And he'll have a chance to go to the line to shoot 2. We've got a timeout on the court, and we've got a good one. What a great finish in store. 61-60, VCU over James Madison. It's a 1-point game. VCU up 61-60. Dukes fans, boy, they're jacked up right now, and the reason why is the play of Devon Moore. Coach, he has made 4 of his last 5 shots.
He's played the last part of this ball game like he's capable of playing. We said he's extremely talented point guard, got good size, good length, good judgment. And now when he goes to the hole, he's looking to score, and he's been a major factor in the second half.
He's got 11 points to go along with his 3 assists and 4 rebounds. And yes, he's got the fans on their feet here at James Madison.
There has been no tentativeness in his game in the last 5 to 10 minutes.
He was able to change that. As a coach, do you say anything to a player? As you can see, it was so obvious that he just didn't feel comfortable where he's trying to make his decisions between passing or shooting, and boy, he's really turned it around.
I think what you try to tell him is quit trying to outthink the other player, just beat the other player. Play your game.
Skeen at the line. And he misses the first of two. There's some big foul shots here. Knocks down the second. It's a two-point game, 62-60, VCU. 3 minutes and 15 seconds left here in the second half. Another good look by Bowles. Moore misses the dunk. I think a hand there on the ball there. VCU inside. Just got a piece of it as Moore went up. And a chance for an easy two.
You got to make it. You got to make it as easy a shot as you can. Great steal.
Hitchens with the steal. Humpty Hitchens misses the layup.
I'll tell you right here, JMU's had 2 opportunities to get themselves ahead, and they just lost focus going up. You got to make these shots. Great steal by Humpty Hitchens. But he's looking at the defense. You got to concentrate on the basket when you go to the hole.
And then they get Julius Wells with the over the back as he comes in to follow the play. So Hitchens, after a nice steal, misses the layup. Wells commits the foul. VCU in the 1-and-1. Burgess goes to the line as the Rams have a 2-point lead. With missed opportunities, Coach, here in the last couple of
That's all it's about right now. Is that when you get in the last 2 to 3 minutes of the ball game, you can't miss plays that you got to make. They've had 2 opportunities to score easily under the basket and missed them both. And it's nullified a great defensive play by Humpty Hitchens.
Burgess knocks down both from the line. He now has 22 to lead the Rams. Matter of fact, he leads all scorers this afternoon. Rams up 4. Remember, coming up next, right after our game, Old Dominion and George Mason here on Comcast Sportsnet. Got the foul on the floor. And Bowles will go to the line to shoot a 1-and-1.
Neither team can afford not to take advantage of foul shot opportunities now because the game is just too close and too little time left. You must make your free throws in the last 2 minutes of the ball game.
So Bowles goes to the line for the first time this afternoon. Pat Brady not looking too pleased right now in the final couple of minutes.
Well, that young man has had a fantastic game at both ends of the floor today. That's what Coach Brady wants out of him every night. Both ends of the floor, full-out effort, and he's giving him that tonight.
He knocks down both shots. Bowles with 22. It's a 2-point lead for VCU. Rodriguez into the front court, pressured by Hitchens. Rodriguez looking to shake it. Hitchens, what a great defensive play. He gets the steal, falls down, gets the possession, and calls timeout.
That is a great effort by Humpty Hitchens. That's 2 fantastic defensive plays he's made in a row. He just played the dribbler all the way. Never lost concentration of where the ball was. He's playing the man and the ball. He sees an opportunity and knocks it away. Great play.
Shaka Smart, head coach there for the Rams, wanted the foul call. Thought there was a little bit too much hand checking, but as we see the replay, that was a great defensive stop by Hitchens.
It was. He had such good balance. He was able to maintain his position and still play the dribble. And he saw an opportunity, he went after it, and he came up with the basketball for his team.
Hitchens, one of the 3 transfers that starts for this James Madison team. Hitchens coming over from Akron. The 5'9" junior, and he is a defensive specialist. He is all over Rodriguez, and as you mentioned, Coach, he just waited for the right opportunity. But the best part about that play, I felt, was he dives on the ball and calls timeout right away. That's heads up with just 2:07 left. This is a big possession now for James Madison.
It's an experienced basketball play. He forced him to his weaker hand, which is the left hand, and he was able to take advantage of the dribble when it got away from Joe.
The timeout situation here with 2 minutes left. Both teams have 2 left, a full and a 30. Madison inside. Julius Wells gets the contact, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2.
First personal teams, 8. Number 34, Julius Wells at the line.
Madison now 4 for 5 from the charity stripe. And a chance to tie the ball game. Wells knocks down the first.
And Julius Wells is an excellent shooter, both at the free throw line and floor.
Over 1,200 points in his James Madison career.
And just a junior.
The first 2 points of the second half for Wells. He was so big in the first half. And he gets 2 foul shots to tie the game at 64 apiece. VCU working the ball around the perimeter. Hitchens not giving Rodriguez very much room up top. Well, we're going to get a foul. A couple of big guys inside got tangled up, and they're going to get Flores.
Both these teams, interestingly enough, are playing with youngsters that didn't play a whole lot early in the season. Of course, for VCU, they've had to play the big fella inside Reddick because of injuries, and he's done a marvelous job. For JMU, Flores has done a good job. He's played a lot of minutes tonight, and he, too, has not been used to playing this many minutes.
Flores goes to the bench with 3 fouls. Goins comes back in. Goins, the transfer from Cincinnati State. And after knocking down both foul shots, 66-64, VCU with the lead. A minute 20 left. Just inside the 3-point line, and the jumper is no good.
We don't have to do any fouling right now. They've just had a good defensive possession, stop them and come back down and try to score.
Hitchens applying some pressure. Skeen wants the ball and a chance. That ball is kicked out. Loose ball, and Hitchens comes up with it, but they're going to call him on the travel.
That's the right call, too. He left the floor and came back down. You've got to pass it or shoot it when you leave the floor like that.
He's jumping over a VCU player. Here to take another look at this, Coach. Referees huddling up.
Well, I tell you, he'd been better served to let him hit him.
Did he take an extra step there, Coach?
I think he had possession and then left the floor. You got to shoot it or pass it. Right. If he'd just let the guy run into him, he'd probably walk to the foul line.
Yeah, he'd be shooting a 1-and-1 if he had stayed there. Well, the fans here at James Madison not happy with that call at all. Happened right in front of one of the student sections. You could, and now the referee trying to explain.
We could look at it again, but I think he made the right call. I think he had possession, left the floor, came back down the floor without even shooting or passing.
A great hustle by James Madison on the loose ball to get possession inside a minute here, down 2. Well, unfortunate for Hitchens, who avoiding the VCU Rams player and ended up traveling with the ball there. It's a VCU. Up 2 with the ball. 45 seconds on the clock. Rodriguez shaking off Hitchens. Trying to run a little clock off.
And what he's got to do is penetrate like that, because he's got to break that plane. Hitchens guards him for 5 seconds, closely guarded. It's a jump ball.
They get a timeout by VCU, and it looks like it'll be a
possession on a jump ball.
30-second timeout
to JMU.
Today's CAA basketball coverage on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you by the Crons brand, official athletic apparel provided for the CAA. Come ready or never start at Crons.com. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Kroger, for more value the way you live. Virginia Highway Safety Notice. Buckle up to be a hero. Be a designated driver. Ramada Worldwide. You do your thing. Leave the rest to us. Virginia 529 College Savings Plan. Affordable, flexible, and tax advantaged. Visit Virginia529.com for more information. All right, Coach, if you're Shaka Smart, you have a 2-point lead. You have the ball, 18 seconds on the shot clock. What are you looking to do?
Well, I think you've got to look to get a shot because you got 18 seconds. So you maybe work it down to about 10 and then try to score. You want the best shot you can get from the 10-second mark on.
James Madison with 2 timeouts left. Possession arrow going in their way. VCU with 1 timeout left. Shot clock down to 10. Rodriguez dribbles inside. He's going to kick it out. He gets the ball in the corner on the handoff, and he buries a huge 3-point shot.
And that is Joey Rodriguez in a nutshell. He does whatever it takes for this basketball team to win. He doesn't score the whole game. He's got 5 quick points in the last few minutes. Unbelievable. Penetration, dishes to the open man. He's covered. He gives it back to Joey. In the air, money.
Now that shot was a 2-point shot. Coach's foot was on the line. So at 68-64, Rodriguez was 0 for 5 from the field until he knocked down that huge jumper.
There's still plenty of time here. JMU does not have to shoot threes. They get the quickest basket they can. They can call a timeout, put them on the foul line, or they go for the steal first and then put them on the foul line. But the shot clock is officially off.
Rodriguez had a couple of points from the foul line, but that was his first basket of the day. 7 rebounds, 5 assists for the senior from Merritt Island, Florida. He does it all. And in the end, when they needed a bucket with the shot clock just about to expire, it was Rodriguez who stepped up and hit a huge shot. Right to the basket, as you said, Coach, a quick 2 and a timeout. 68-66, VCU with a 2-point lead. And now, defensively, Matt Brady, what do you do down 2?
I think you go for this inbound steal. You take a man off the ball, double team Rodriguez perhaps, because they want to throw it into him. This is just too easy. They needed to do something to make him kill a little bit more clock. They let him have it too easy.
Moore with 13 points now. All his points coming in the second half. 16.5 left on the clock. It's a 2-point game. VCU 18-6 this year, 10-2 in the CAA. And this is a big game as they want to keep pace with George Mason at the top of the conference standings. And with a 2-point lead, boy, they have struggled on the road this year, just 5-5. So this would be a big road win if VCU could hold on.
Yeah, because they're playing a very good team right now. JMU's going to, I'm sure, overplay the inbounds pass, try to probably double team Rodriguez so the ball doesn't get in his hands, make somebody else handle it, and then they're going to have to put him on a foul line.
Well, if you're Shaka Smart, you want the ball in that man's hands.
I wouldn't expect them to put 2 guys on him. I'm not sure what they'll do, but we'll take a look at it.
Well, if Rodriguez gets the ball, he could certainly dribble out the rest of the
clock. Looks like they got 1 guy to 9 and 1 guy behind him, so they're going to have to throw the ball in probably to someone else.
Yep, instead of having a man on the ball, they have 2 on Rodriguez. They send Skeen deep. It's not there. Rodriguez is there for a second, and he turns it over on the pass. Wait a second. The referee said the ball hit the out-of-bounds line, so VCU will have possession with 14.8 left on the clock. What a great defensive play there by JMU.
The inbounder can't run the baseline now because the ball's out of bounds, not after a shot.
Let's look how close this was. On the line, and I don't know. That was really close, Coach.
It was. It looks like he probably caught the edge of it, but the thing now is there's still plenty of time. JMU can't get all upset over that play. They still got 14, almost 15 seconds to play basketball.
Got to keep the pressure. 2 on Rodriguez. They get the ball to Rodriguez. The quick foul. Hutchins. Rodriguez will go to the line. That is now in the double bonus. He'll shoot 2. With a 2-point lead, 13.8 seconds left.
They got to give Madison credit. They did a good job of keeping it out of Rodriguez's hand for most of those 2 possessions. He was able to keep working and break.
Right after this one, we'll hand it off to George Mason hosting Old Dominion. Coming up next, a doubleheader of CAA basketball right here on Comcast Sportsnet this afternoon.
I'd like to be a little fly on the wall and watch that one. That should be a good one.
So Rodriguez to the line. He has 2 shots. VCU with a 2-point lead. Conley knocks down the first.
It's still a 1-possession game. This could make it a 2-possession game. But the same thing is true. They don't have to get a 3. They can push the ball down and score quickly.
Look at the disparity in free throws. VCU, 22 they've made from the line here today. When you make more than your opponent shoots, I've heard coaches say you have a really good shot at winning the ball game.
We're going to win. Now they don't have to get the 3-point shot, even though they're down 2 possessions. They can come down, score. If they can score as quickly as they did, they do the same thing they just did before. And they've done a pretty good job of denying that inbounds pass.
Well, the last time it was Devon Moore who went coast to coast, who got the easy lay-in. As you said, it was a little too easy. This time, for James Madison, do you draw up the same play or do you change it up?
Well, it didn't really look like it was too much of a play. He just took it from end to end, and nobody really got out and delayed him at all, so that no time went off the clock. Right now, I think you just get back and pack your defense in. Don't worry so much about what they're going to do. Just contest the shot, but don't foul. Right now, they are in a 2-possession game. JMU has to score twice in order to get back in this ball.
Denzel Bowles as good as advertised today, leading James Madison with 22 points. Bradford Burgess, the junior for VCU, leading the way for the Rams with 22 points. And, those 2 guys have really been fun to watch today, Coach.
They put on a show. I do have one other scenario, and I'm sure that's what Shaka Smart's saying. For gosh sakes, don't foul a 3-point shooter right now. Because he makes that, if it gets a free throw, we're into overtime.
VCU has 18 fouls. So if they do foul in the front court, it would be a 1-and-1.
I don't expect them to put him on the foul line, but you don't want it. Nothing can beat him in 1 possession. You don't foul a 3-point shooter.
Moore does take it to the rim, but that doesn't go, and it's going to be out of bounds on the Dukes. VCU will get the possession, 6.7 and a 4-point lead.
Number 32, Bradford Burgess, in for the Rams.
Wide open is Skeen, and it looks like VCU, they're going to win it. Their 19th win of the season. They go to 11-2 in the CAA. The fans here not happy with the referees, the way this one ended in the final minute. VCU wins it 70-66. Stay tuned for more CAA basketball action as Old Dominion and George Mason get set to tip it off right here on Comcast Sportsnet. For Charlie Woolham and our entire cast here in Harrisburg, Virginia, I'm Brett Harris. Have a great afternoon as CAA basketball continues right here on Comcast Sportsnet.